The interior was just disgusting. It was old style, like orange walls. Like I've spoken to some homeowners. We've got people who came from nothing and are now living in 50 million homes. We've got people who came from a lot and are still living in 50 million homes. But the fact is, we've still got a lot of money in this country. You should leave the show hopefully thinking one day I'm going to own a house like that. Because I leave also feeling poor, but I also think one day I'm going to own a house like that. Or at least if I can't, I'm going to own something similar. I think it's so easy to get caught up in everything that, work pressure, life pressure, that I'm trying to prioritize my mental health more than I am trying to prioritize anything else. I've seen my mom pass from cancer. I've seen a good mate of my mom's pass from cancer recently. And you realize how quickly all of the hard work you've put in life can be taken away.
Today I have a special one. I'm chilling with the legend in the making himself. He has more than 100 episodes with more than 1 million, no, not just 1 million, more than 5 million views on more than 100 shows. This guy is the head of prop tech at Private Property. Now he's the director at Rain Consultancy. This man is the guy who came up with the phrase, welcome home. So everyone, please, let's welcome home Chad Vivieros. How's it, Chad?
Art, thank you very much, brother. That was, without a doubt, single-handedly the best intro I've ever had. I need to employ you just so that when I enter into a boardroom, somebody needs to say that. That was really well done, man. Thank you so much. You made me sound so much more important than I am.
He knows he's important, this guy. He knows he's... But on the real, man, you are important, especially with home tours, nah? I know you did the property development show. It was also like some pioneering work there, but most definitely with touring houses, you are the first in SA who has paved the way for everyone and everything, and we appreciate that. So Chad, while we're here, we just want to get started. Where are you from, buddy?
From Joburg, born and bred. I was actually born in Berea.
Is it?
Well, I was born in Sandton Mediclinic, if we're going to be very, very specific, but I grew up in Berea. Yeah, I grew up in Berea. Moved when I was about 10 to Bryanston, bounced around there a bit, and then now still 4 ways in, no ways out, man.
You trapped in, 4 ways in, no way out. So I want you to tell us, which one was the best place to grow up in?
You know, I've probably got my fondest memories of Berea. I went to King Edward's Primary School, and I remember you'd walk around, you'd walk to the spa on the side of the road, you go play arcade there when you're a kid, you'd run around with your friends and that, and those memories of growing up are without a doubt the best, or at least the ones that you cherish the most, because there's no stress. Like looking back on it, you realize how there was no stress. You thought leaving school at 3 o'clock, how they keep you here for so long? You got to go do your homework. Now you leave work at 5 p.m., you go home, you got to cook, you got to do more work. So definitely love that, but also I think some fond memories are when you move out and you get your first place. I mean, it happens to tie in really well with what I do, but to move into your first place and that feeling of freedom and like this almost where you can't even quantify just how you can't wait to see your future. I'm trying to think about how to distill that moment when I walked in with my keys, my first place, and I threw it on the counter and I took a video of the empty place and sent it to like your friends groups to show off. And like everybody's cheering you on and that, and you just feel like you got so much ahead of you. And I think nothing really beats that first house.
Wow. I like how you described the feeling of how it was, the way you put us in. Literally, I was seeing you jumping a street, going to an arcade to play a game. I was seeing you throwing away the keys, grabbing a video. You're very good with description and describing things and taking us on tours and playing around with our imagination. Where did this thing come from?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Look, I'm glad you think I'm good. Like I thought I was okay. So we started off with the developer show. And that was during COVID. So my CEO from Private Property gave me a call and he said to me, Chad, look, we need to start looking at different avenues of remaining relevant during COVID. And also from still engaging with our audiences, because one thing that private property does so well is that we really do make our whole business customer centric. We look at our users and people coming onto the site and like, how can we make their life easier? How can we make their life better? How can we arm them with more information and more education? And one of the things was, let's do a show about development. You know, at least people can tune on, they're sitting at home, they're bored, they want to further their education, maybe come out of COVID with a little bit more. And we did that developer show. And I remember before the first one, I was so nervous, man. I was sitting there, hey, you're interviewing some big shot developer. I got so much money. The guy was in like Greece or something and he's making time for you off of his yacht. And I'm thinking, okay, now I got to talk about developments. And I don't know, I've never developed a house or developed, like done a development before. So I had no clue. So go online, you know, brush up, make sure you've got nice questions and, you know, you can talk about stuff that people are going to find interesting. And I think just being thrown into that makes you think very quick on your feet. Because the developer show then, when the lockdown restrictions lifted, moved into the home shopper show, which is we'll tour expensive houses and at least people can see how the other half lives. You know, I can see how the other half lives. I finish those shows and I feel so poor. I think, yeah, just from so many homes and things that I've had to do on the spot, I got quite quick, or at least maybe quick, with talking about things I see and describing it and making it interesting. Well, I hope so. I'm glad you feel that way.
No, I get it. But we're gonna get to how you came into the home shopper show. We'll get into that. But let's just finish up with your background. So after that, you grew up in Bryanston, Berea, and then you got your first property. Where was your first place at?
Rampart Ridge, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, Rampart Ridge was the first place. And also good memories, but it was a lot of stress. Man, it's a lot of stress. I think I overextended myself a bit. And you don't know, which is also like really cool because oftentimes people, I think now it's easier to find information about buying a house because everybody's trying to do it. Like I know private property is trying to do it. Estate agents are taking a greater involvement in educating people about it. But back then it was just buy it and see what happens. You know, and then something breaks and you're like, where am I going to get this money from? But yeah, Rampart Ridge was the first place.
Is it? Please take us on a tour on your first place.
Okay, so the green driveway gate would open up and we'd have a driveway that would curve to the left, 2-car driveway with a little detached flat, right? Then the house would be right next to a beautiful garden, greenery, trees, one of them that fell down. And I realized getting a tree cut up and removed was very, very expensive. Too expensive for my blood, in fact. So that tree lived there for a very long time. It was a nice small pool of which a duck decided to nest in one day. And during the time of trying to find the SPCA to come rescue this poor duck, because its friends would land on my trees and make the biggest racket trying to get him to fly, I think something happened to him. My pool went completely green because I didn't want to put anything in it and this poor duck. So they rescued the duck, and then I had this green pool, and I also realized pools are very expensive to maintain. Oh, yeah. And then it was a 3-bedroom house, really nice, like very old that I thought I'd be able to renovate. And at that age, you're full of gumption, and you think you can be able to do everything. And I realized as well, it's very expensive to renovate, and I know absolutely nothing about renovation, so maybe I should stop trying to chip tiles away. So that was the first one. Really nice place, like a lot of fond memories there. And to this day, I've come to realize I have never had a housewarming.
And you're about to be on your third property.
And I've never had a housewarming, I've just realized.
Why?
I think we're going to invite everybody on the Home Shopper show.
Oh!
Big one.
We need to hold them up on that one. You're inviting everybody to come to your third housewarming.
Third housewarming, I'll mention it on the show. Shut the street down. We do something like that. What was it? Superbad? What was that movie that they had that massive party?
It's that shutdown party that was not planned.
We're going to do something like that. They're going to talk about us in the next budget speech.
But wait, when you invite everybody at the Home Shopper show, do you think it's going to be rich people or low LMSs or just poor people?
I think it's going to be a big mix. Like there's a couple of people that I see comment on all the videos, and I love it. I'll always go through there and I'll comment on the videos and that. So I think it's a good mix. It's people who are very rich. I think it's people who are in between. I think it's people working their way there. Like everybody's got to start somewhere. But it's definitely going to be fun because those comments are witty. Those guys throw out some good comments, and some of the videos I actually feel bad because sometimes they'll rip the property or they'll rip me on those videos. But at least most of the time it's people putting encouraging words there. But there is nothing more entertaining seeing people online comment what I might think about the house, but I can't say because it would be maybe not professional. And then they'll comment.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean.
They'll comment things that I've maybe said offline,
Yeah.
but definitely not there. And I'll always just heart the comments and have a good laugh and that. But and the guys are fantastic. It's crazy to see the support that that I've generated. I mean, even when you contacted me, man, I think doing this, I never realized that people actually watch it. Even when you see the numbers, like you see 10,000, 15,000, 250,000 people watch a video. It's just like a number. You don't think it's actually 250,000 people have come on and seen me talk crap about a house.
No, trust me, man. Like, actually, it's weird. People do watch these videos and they actually share them. That's the crazy part about it. Like, they actually share. You might find it's one view, but those views is actually two or more. Because I know with my mom, she actually watches a lot of these shows.
Really?
Yes.
It's so humbling to hear that, man. Like, it's such a nice thing to hear. And I think I still can't wrap my head around it. I always feel like the only people who watch these videos is maybe my friends, my family, and that's it.
Nah, don't worry, man.
So-
Everybody does, man.
Oh, man. They edit the videos here in studio where we are. So I always somehow hear myself off a speaker or a headphone and I'll cringe like you cannot believe. I had one of the guys on the floor the other day say, Chad, do you watch yourself on the videos? I'm like, no ways am I watching myself on the video. I'll die of embarrassment, man.
So you just look at the comments and then you're out.
I'm out. I don't even let it play. You know when you're on YouTube and you scroll, you can still hear, I put it on pause.
Really?
I can't hear myself. I'll cringe. I'll die.
But then how do you improve in being a presenter?
I ask people for critique. So the guys that edit my videos will know more than anybody else about what I say too many times or, you know, what my problems are. My friends, I'll ask them, listen, like if you watch the videos, tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you say, what you don't say. So a lot of them will rip me about stuff. They'll mock me about maybe I say plenty too many times, evidently. Plenty of life, plenty of space, plenty headroom. There's a couple of other words that they like to tease me about.
I actually had some, but I forgot. On the last Kyalami property you did, you repeated a lot of words. I forgot what it was, but yeah.
You know, what I realize as well is it's quite difficult because I get there and I don't prep a script. Because I find it's more difficult to learn a script about the house than it would be for me to just walk through it. So I'll wing it. Every video you see is the first time I'm walking through that house.
Yes, I've noticed,
On camera at least. I walked through it before and I'll check things out, but the first time on camera is, it's generally just me winging it.
Yeah, because I've noticed with the Kyalami property, I realized like, wait, this guy is actually doing one take. This guy is speaking and just going and going. I'm like, I wonder if they do go back and do retakes. Does that happen?
If I mess up, we'll do some retakes, we'll do some cuts, or sometimes my cameraman will trip over something and then shout at me because I didn't tell him something's behind him. Like, how must I communicate with my eyes? No, while I'm talking. But yeah, it's all one take. I feel it maybe makes it more, and I could be wrong. So it'll be interesting to see what your viewers say. I feel like it makes it more sincere and genuine. Like I'm taking you through this and I've taken a look at the house, but we're going to talk about it like we're walking through it together. And two, it comes off less stilted and less acted. If I haven't read a script, like, is the bedroom, and I feel like this about the bedroom, I'd rather come into the bedroom and I'll talk about what I feel. Like, how do I feel about it? Like, do I feel like there actually is a lot of space? Do I feel like there actually is a lot of light in the room? And, do I like the flooring? And a lot of it is actually from my point of view, and I wonder if it's a fair thing to say or not. Because some guys don't like the styling of the houses, and fair. There's some houses I've walked in and I've been like, this is a beautiful house. But man, the interior decor or the way they've designed the interior is terrible. We did one in Cresta off a hill, and I think a lot of the viewers will know. It's like a beautiful hill, and you've got an incredible view. The camera doesn't even capture the view. You could see the airports. Maybe I'm giving away too much. It's not that a estate agent comes and throttles me. But the interior was just disgusting. It was old style, like orange walls, and just something I think for the majority of people, unless you've got maybe a very eclectic taste, and that stuff is like, I love that kind of corny interior, nobody's gonna like it. But then it's a 10 million in price tag, or 15 million in price tag. So you're not buying an exclusive area, and you're buying a house that's gonna need a lot of interior work. So they've kind of just thrown a 10 million rand price tag onto a home. because of the view. But I'll mention it because I really think the view's nice. So I'll kind of just talk about when I do these homes, what I think is cool, what I think maybe my audience will think is cool, because we're not trying to sell them anymore. Like, I'm not there to sell the home. I'm just there to show the homes off, so people can kind of take a look at some of the homes in South Africa, and it reminds you very quickly that SA is not what some people make you want to believe what SA is. You know, we've got people who, and I've spoken to some homeowners, we've got people who came from nothing and are now living in 50 million rand homes. We've got people who came from a lot and are still living in 50 million rand homes. But the fact is, we've still got a lot of money in this country, and it's not going where people always say it is. Like, you hear some people saying, Also, I often ask, why are you selling the house? Very rarely do I hear we're going overseas. Yeah, I'm going to Cape Town, or my kids have went off to university, so we don't need such a big house. So we're going to find something smaller so it doesn't feel so empty. Everybody's always like, people are leaving the country, SA is going, SA is here to stay. There's a lot of money in SA, there's a lot of intelligent people in SA, there's tons of hard workers in South Africa. And that's kind of what I'm just trying to show people. Like, we've got cool houses, it's not just America. We've also got hella cool houses. We've got some ugly houses that are very expensive. And man, there's like, you should leave the show hopefully thinking one day I'm going to own a house like that. Because I leave also feeling poor, but I also think one day I'm going to own a house like that. Or at least if I can't, I'm going to own something similar. Yes. So that's kind of just what it is. It's like a kind of a lifestyle aspiration show that is hopefully occasionally funny. If you're not laughing at me, you're laughing with me. We did a couple of those episodes with some comedians to try it out and see what people said. And we're just trying to make it like as raw as we can.
No, what you said. I also agree with you. It's also about inspiration and showing people what's inside our South African homes, and to show them that you could own this property. You know, you said, you know, people who started from nothing all the way to the top. Who's your favorite, that one that you've met who owns a mega beautiful house and they started from nothing?
I'll have to be biased here because it would be one of my friends. It would be one of my, and also came from very, very humble beginnings, worked his way up from sales consultant to sales manager to, you know, a head of a specific business unit to now general manager of the region. And has left behind a lot of the people that are his peers. You know, he's far, far more successful. And it's nice to have people in your friends groups who you can look up to and who push you to try harder. And that show you that, because I think it's quite easy to get caught up in the politics of it all, thinking most of the people you see nowadays with money started with money, families got money, got all these opportunities. It's nice to realize that as hard as it is to get those opportunities, I'm sure it is hard and it's a lot of luck involved in getting these good opportunities. The sky's the limit, man. It really is, eh? Hopefully luck's on your side when you're trying it. Hopefully luck's on my side, because I'm sure luck plays a massive part. But it's nice to know that every day you sit and you grind, you're grinding for something better, for something more. And to see where he came from and where he is today is incredibly inspiring. And it's nice to get to that stage where you don't look at anything with jealousy. You're looking at it with, it's nice to have this person in my circle because there's somebody I can look up to and strive towards being like, you know, at least from a professional point of view. You know, and you get to take those little habits that he has that has made him a successful person, and you get to adopt those habits and see how well it's going to help you push further. Because if you've got a friends group, I feel, who all does the same thing, you're going to struggle to grow as a person. You need to have quite a diverse friends group. You have to have people that take their career very seriously. And then you can have those guys that are willing to party and go out. You've got to have that mix, one for the health and then the other one for a proper mindset when it comes to your work.
Nice, I like what you said. So how much is his house?
I think it's 25 now.
Whoa, what does this guy do?
It works in technology, eh?
In tech?
Yeah, it works in tech.
Whoa, where is this?
And doesn't even have a degree in tech.
Ah la la, oh Lord.
What a degree in something you can't even use or apply. And that's another thing that I'm finding out, is a lot of people have found their success in something that they didn't even study to do. Which is interesting. Like, I know people with engineering degrees that are developing applications, so they're doing computing stuff. And a lot of it, again, is surrounding yourself with people who know more than you. You know, if you're going to start a company and that find people who are smarter than you, that are willing to work, or that know things that more than you do. A lot of CEOs think that they know everything, and they don't realize that there are people out there that know more than you do. I think that's why private property is done so well, is because everybody is recognized for what they can bring to the business. and is allowed that opportunity to utilize their skill sets. I mean, if you're hiring a programmer, the programmer is obviously going to know more than you are as a CEO because you haven't studied that. And a lot of that is let free. And I see the guys that are doing so well, be it my friends or people I've just met through doing the show, are guys that let the people in their business do what they're paid to do, which is their job. Let them do their job because they know more about that specific job than you do.
Okay, hectic, man. Wow, that's very inspirational. While we talking about the people you met through the show, who's the most richest you've met? A big baller.
Person I met was the guy in Karami, the 50 million rand home.
Yeah.
I met the owner. And he owns like 10 helicopters, owns the whole development the land's built on, all the other houses in there. He owns like 2 or 3 of the other houses in there. And you want to kind of sit the guy down and be like, how did you get to where you are? But I don't think this guy wants to talk to me about this kind of stuff. But it's always interesting to go and I introduce myself. Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for letting us, utilize your house. And I ask them like, what do you do? And you always want to try and get those nuggets of wisdom from them. But helipads there. We shot another house there on Tuesday. So that one was still coming in the same complex for 17 million. And as I left, I just saw this helicopter flying out, and I thought, there's this guy with his money in his helicopter. Yeah, I am sitting in traffic.
Oh, damn.
It's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, soon we're gonna get there.
We're getting there.
So this homie, what does he do?
I believe he's just a developer. I don't want to quiz him, but they told me he's just a developer. So he bought the land, Kincardine Estate, which is the estate that the house was built on, and I think he sold some of that. I don't know where else his money might have come from, but he's got a lot of it if he's selling a 50 million rand home.
Yeah, man.
50 million rand.
That's
a lot. Crazy.
50 is one of the upper echelons, man. So now, with all these guys you've said now, do you have a common characteristic that you've identified? Because it sounds like you also like learning from them and then extracting value from them. What's the one common character trait you've learned from them?
You're not going to like this answer, but I'm going to give it to you. Is that they're not available for these talking. Is that I'm not meeting them. That's the one common characteristic, is that I'm not meeting them. More often than not, the guys aren't there, the homeowners aren't there. And in all honesty, I appreciate they're not, because one, I don't want like the homeowner to maybe get offended by the way I introduce their home. Two, I think if you buy a house, everything is special to you and you want the person to talk about everything. But I mean, we've only got a certain time slot. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to overlook because I just don't think it's interesting for the guys to hear. I already think I say a lot of stuff that maybe is not interesting for the guys to hear. But so it's easier when they're not there. I think also for the camera crew and myself, it feels less invasive if they've got to chase people from room to room in their own house. Like, hey, sorry, you can't sit here. Or no, you can't talk because we're recording. So it's so much nicer if the agent just lets us in and even the agent goes and comes back. Or obviously if the agent wants to say no problem, but the homeowners to try and say, sorry, you can't sit here or you can't speak. It's awkward because you are shooting their house. You kind of feel invasive.
We have a theory in our crew that very rich guys own certain types of cars. So in the best upper echelon homes you've been in, what's the cheapest car you've seen?
The cheapest car I've seen? I wouldn't even know because I don't really pay attention. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Probably the same car I drive, a GTI. That's probably the cheapest car I've seen in one of these homes.
Don't worry, GTI is fancy.
I saw it the other day and I was like, hey, he's got the same car as me. And the estate agent was like, no. That's his son's car. Oh. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we are.
Hectic. You know why I'm asking that? Because yesterday we were at the Eye of Africa and the best house there, the most beautiful, biggest house. You know what was parked outside?
What was parked outside?
A flipping Clio, bruh.
Maybe
a humble Clio.
Maybe it was one of the people's friends coming through.
Like, this guy's too humble now.
This poor friend's just coming to visit their mates and now he's getting his car roasted by you guys.
We're just confused, like, are these guys like playing mind games? Are they trying to hide their riches? Or maybe they just enjoy their cars, they just want to show off on houses? Because I know a lot of people in property who are not going to be humble about their houses. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
It's an interesting thing. I think it comes down to the person. I know a very, very wealthy person. It's a friend of a friend. And he has got stacks and stacks and stacks of money. His house is incredible. He's got a theater in the house that is bigger than a new metro. He won't let us shoot his house. He's too private. He says, no, nobody's coming to my house. He's got a gym in there that takes up a whole floor with a pool and everything inside. It's massive. Like if you had to walk into the gym, you're thinking Virgin Active and Virgin Active upgraded stuff. And he drives everywhere in a tiny little German car. The cheapest German car as well, the smallest one, like a one. I don't want to give too much away either now if anybody sees this, but like a 1 Series and A-Class, he drives one of those everywhere. He's got a Rolls Royce, he's got a Ferrari, got all these things, leaves it in the garage, drives around in that tiny little German car and doesn't care. I think maybe, I wouldn't know because I haven't got there, I think maybe at a certain stage you get to a level where you don't feel like you need to show people the level you're at. And you just don't care. You're just happy to live your life and do your thing, and it doesn't even register to you that you've got as much as you do. So if the small car is easy to drive, who cares? It's easy to park, easy to find parking. You drive around in your Rolls, you've got to try and find parking, you've got to try and get out the door. You know, people taking photos on your car, everybody knows where you are if you've got personalized number plates. I think that guy just jumps in his German car, enjoys the easy use. But maybe when we're building stuff up, because we spend so much time working and grinding, when you finally make that break, you want to show it off. You want a nice car, you want a nice house, you want like some fancy jewelry to say like, look at me, I've worked hard. It's not like, maybe it's not a negative thing so much as it's just you want a little bit of that recognition for where you've worked from. So maybe it's that, but maybe not. I'm not there yet, so I'll let you know when I can choose my tiny little Clio over my Ferrari. But yeah, it was an interesting thing as well when I noticed the guy drives like the cheapest car. For him, it's the cheapest car. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's saving gas. Fuel price is crazy, eh?
Baby.
You want to save that money? You want to stay rich?
I wonder why he's saving gas when he has tax. But anyway, I guess it means people have priorities and people have certain things that matter to them, you know. For you currently, what matters to you right now?
Right now, just happiness, eh? Yeah, right now, I think it's so easy to get caught up in everything that, work pressure, life pressure, that I'm trying to prioritize my mental health more than I am trying to prioritize anything else. I'm very focused in my career right now. I think we like working between Home Shoppers Show and my actual job. There's a lot of time management because it takes a day out to go shoot a house. So you kind of 2 days, because we shoot twice a week, a Tuesday and a Thursday. So it's 2 days out of a week that now I've got to kind of make up the work. And I've just realized that all of it means nothing, and all the money in the world means nothing if you're not a happy person. I've been happier when I've had less money, and I've been sadder when I've had more money. So I'd rather just try and sit down and be thankful for what I do have, be thankful that I'm alive, that I'm healthy. You hear it so often, and I think a lot of the times, for me specifically, I can say I've heard this and I've just thought, what's this guy talking about? And I've got to that stage where, I've seen my mom pass from cancer. I've seen a good mate of my mom's pass from cancer recently. And you realize how quickly all of the hard work you've put in life can be taken away. And you got to look back and be like, how many happy memories? How often did I spend sad for reasons I shouldn't have been sad for, How often did I put myself in situations that I knew weren't going to be healthy for me, but I did it in any case, thinking you got more time. And you don't really know, I know it's a bit of a downer, but you don't really know how much time you got. So I'm trying to focus on things that make me happy as best I can, because not everybody can. And like I can't either. There's definitely things that don't. And just, make sure I don't take for granted the time I've had on the planet and how much time I might have left.
Hectic, man. That's real right there, So talking about the time you have left, when you look at the time you've had with your mom, what was the best memory you share with her?
Probably just goofing around, hey? Like, I remember when I was a kid and we'd just mess around. It would be such, like, unencumbered, no stress, just fun with your family. Laughing, joking, and I think I'll be the first person to admit to most people I haven't been the closest with my mom through all of our life together. But we got a lot closer at the end. And it's nice to look back and enjoy just the normal, silly, take for granted times you've had with your family. Those would definitely be we used to live on a farm in Muldersdrift at a stage. And it was definitely there that I've got some of the best memories. I've been all over Joburg. Afar, I've been Moses-Rift. I know. From Berea
all these
to afar.
houses.
Thatched roof, lightning rod, all of those things.
Yeah. Wow, so you have some fun boy in you,
A
man.
little bit, man. That's very small.
But it's the one that you cherish.
Yeah, that's definitely some of the best memories I've got. That's probably where my family was all closest, and yeah, you can't take that for granted. Especially the busier you get, I think it's very easy to start drifting away from things that you shouldn't be, like your friends and your family.
Wow, what you're saying is very important because just yesterday, even at the Eye of Africa, we're looking at those huge houses, and I stopped my team. I was like, guys, do you think these guys with these big, beautiful houses have time to actually enjoy living in this house, or they too busy making more money? You know, what's your take on that?
It's interesting. Eh? I think it's a really good question. I wouldn't know. One, maybe they do. Maybe they can retire now and sit down and enjoy time with your family, or maybe you've spent so much time being busy that you don't know how to not be busy. You know what I mean? You don't know how to not have a business going, or be dabbling in stocks, or maybe doing something with your company. I've met homeowners who seem to be very, very close with their family. They're obviously retired. They're sitting at home. Their family's there. Their grandsons are there. They're all chatting. It seems like they've got a good home life. I hope they do. But I also wonder. I mean, a lot of the times I see specifically in South Africa, is they bring the whole family into the house. They get to that stage where they want their granddaughter living with them. They want their daughters living with them because they've got all the space. They've got such a nice house that it's that, why go pay for a house somewhere where you can come live in the Eye of Africa with me in this beautiful house? It's got all the space. We can all be together. Let me enjoy this time of my life with you guys. So I've seen that a couple of times as well. But I think it's person to person. Maybe their family's crazy and they don't want to spend time with them. maybe they're looking for reasons not to be at home.
Yeah, they just shove them with the big screen and the PlayStation and fancy stuff. They're like, stay in that room.
After the 15th question, they're like, I'm starting another business now. Let's go. Fuel up the helicopter, Jeffrey.
Yeah, because actually we're also speaking about another guy who came from Zanzibar. This guy, he's been there for a while. He's got his own monies, and then he just came back. This guy stays in a massive plot with a massive property on it. And then he's like, I've retired. I'm bored, and I want to come back in the game. I'm starting a new business. This guy is like above 50, and he's saying these things, man. And he's grown up already, but he still wants to play.
I don't know. I have to ask myself, if you've got so much money, how can you be bored? How can you be bored? I don't understand that, man. I feel like he can give me some of his money. I'll show him how to entertain himself.
What would you do with it? We give you a budget of 50 million. 50 million. You have to spend it. You're not allowed to save.
Man, okay, if I've got 50 million, then I've got to spend what, in a couple of months?
The main point is to have fun, and you only have a week.
A week for 50 million. Get all the friends, we hire supercars, go drive to the airport. Supercars just for an airport trip, man. Because we got 50 million, so just for an airport trip, we're going to go. We can collect as many fines as we want.
Which supercars do you like?
Man, any. The ones I can't afford, those are the supercars I like.
What color?
I'm very, very partial to Porsches.
Oh, okay.
So we used to do cars with the houses in Home Shopper Show. We used to match them. So we'd get this was way back. If you go down, you'll see like we did a Mercedes-Benz AMG, the GT. We did a couple of Porsches. Did like a couple of other Mercedes-Benz and that. And the best driving car I've had is definitely Porsche. Really? The nicest driving car out of all of them. The Mercedes. We did a couple of BMW M's. The nicest driving car is a Porsche.
It also beats a McLaren because you mentioned a McLaren.
No, sorry, I meant the Mercedes, not a McLaren yet. We might have. I don't think so, but maybe. I have to go back. It was a bit of a, shooting cars in houses is a chore. It was very, very difficult because you can't close the roads. Like I can't close a road here and help us film. So you've got to kind of do it on public roads. And even if you try and find an empty road, Karma will get you and they'll be like, oh, okay, you want to use this road? Now we're making it busy. So you'd kind of drop the videographer off and you'll drive past so you can film that B-roll footage, and then you'll drive back and you'll film it, but then you've got to go to another location so it doesn't look the same, and you'll do that. Then you need to do drone footage, but then there's cars and there's telephone wires and everything else. So it was more difficult to film the car than it was to film a house. So eventually we just dropped it off because also like we don't want to damage the car by accident, and you're trying to do U-turns in these little roads because you finally found an empty road. I'll never forget, and I know we're getting off topic, but the one time we were flying a drone right in front of the car so we could get like the footage of the car driving down the road. And the poor oncoming traffic, even though the drone was literally right in front of the car, the oncoming traffic was freaking out seeing this drone. And that was the day we decided, let's maybe not do this. A little bit dangerous, a little bit possibly illegal. Hopefully this doesn't, there's no footage, there's no proof of anything. And that's where we stopped. But definitely Porsche, one of my favorite supercars. Take the supercars to the airport, private plane, go off somewhere really, really cold. Do a ski trip. You'll see my reasoning. Okay. Do the ski trip, parties, everything like that. Then you go somewhere really hot. The beach, the ocean, do the scuba diving, do the jet skis, do the yachts, do all the crazy stuff. Then we go to Las Vegas and I guess spend and donate the rest. You got to donate if somebody's giving you 50 million. Then
we'll let you off the hook for that one.
I donated some of it. Come on now.
But he was not allowed to donate. But you're off the hook.
After Las Vegas, I've got to absolve my sins. So we'll donate the rest. But yeah.
And hopefully he doesn't get married in Las Vegas.
I mean, helicopters, so many different things you can do with that money to not be bored. I don't understand this.
Yeah. It's weird, man.
Take up racing, go try and do F1, buy an F1 car, build an F1 track, give some to us. See, I'll entertain the guy for some money. I'll entertain him. I'll take him for walks, everything.
Hectic, man. I see your tattoos. What inspired your tats, bro?
The wing is for my mom. She had a dove on her finger, so when she passed, I got the wing. Then everything on the left is biblical. So the snake, the eye of providence. I've got Michael up here.
Oh, okay. And underneath Michael, who's that naughty fella?
This is you. Satan.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Michael sending Lucifer to hell.
Wow. Okay.
And then another angel on the inside. And got it all done about a year and a bit ago.
Are you planning on getting more tats?
I might. I've got a wolf over here on my ribs, and I'm thinking of doing my bottom left leg. But I mean, if having a career was never an option, I'd get a lot more tats. But as I'm sure you've noticed with the sleeves and that, you don't see much on the show. Yeah, so trying to keep it so if I look businessy, at least people are going to take me serious. Because some people are not so keen on seeing tattoos, eh? Yeah, you get some people.
That's going to stay like that, or is it going to change?
I definitely think it's going to change. I think it's already changed a lot. I think a lot of new business owners and CEOs and people coming into these positions of power have got a different view on tattoos than what it used to be. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people have got themselves. I mean, I've worked for a guy who was a director in a company, and he had a big bear on his back, a full-sized bear tattoo on his back. So I'm finding more and more people are looking for tattoos, are getting tattoos, are quite open-minded when it comes to tattoos. But I mean, I think if I had to rock up for a job interview with one across my neck here, they might look at me a bit like, I think also it depends where your job faces. If you're somebody who's in the office all the time and you're writing copy, or you're a programmer, or you're in marketing, it's not such a big deal. But if you sales or talk, speaker, something like that, it might hinder you more than it might help you. You know what I mean? Because you've got to cater to such a variety of people. People who come into your talk, if you've got half of them that now don't value anything you're saying because of what you got on your skin, it's a problem, even though it's not really your fault, and it's a bit narrow-minded by them. So I'm trying to keep it to, because I would have liked them to come down to my hands. But I don't think that would have been a smart idea. You would have never asked to interview me. You would have been like, look at this hoodlum, yeah.
We're like, yes, this is the guy we find. Because we're actually intentionally looking for something different in the real estate industry to bring to people, because we're tired of the normal stuff. We want to break our barriers and boundaries and bring new things. While we're on that, what do you think the SA or the African real estate industry needs right now from your point of view?
It's a deep question. That is a deep question. From a purely business point of view, or from more of like a philanthropic point of view?
Let's start from a business perspective.
You've asked me on both of them now. From a business point of view, I'd say more intentional, more intention in what they do. So if you are selling houses, if you're a real estate agency, be intentional about it. How are you looking at your marketing? How are you looking at promoting your brand? Because right now, we spoke a little bit about this offline. People are always going to need houses. People are always buying houses. And people are always going to be selling houses, conversely. If people are buying, somebody has to be selling, and vice versa. So how well are you differentiating your brand from the next person? Because there's so much money to make or to be made. And you can see this by how well some independents are doing. You've got independents that are setting up. I'd love to do some shout outs, but just not get into trouble.
No,
and
shout out.
and these guys are doing so well is because they're intentional about their business. They go about their marketing properly. They're not just doing it to say, I've got a marketing strategy. Like, hey, have you got a, yeah, I've got one. It's there somewhere. Like if you had to ask the CEO about it, he'd probably be hard pressed to tell you what it is. There are guys out there that know exactly what they're doing in marketing to get their brand out there. Because at the end of the day, people buy what they know. If you're familiar with a brand and you're comfortable with it, you're going to go to that brand. If you're seeing a specific brand online all the time and they're telling a really good story, the chances of you, next time you need something, buying from that brand is exceptionally high. I mean, look how well the German car market is. And if I say German cars, very often people think of Mercedes, Audi, and BMW, right? VW is also German. So rare if you say you drive a German car and somebody says, no, I drive a VW, they're going to be like, and it's really just because of the way Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz have done their marketing. They've made their cars feel so much more desirable. But Audi and VW, it's almost the same chassis. You're buying like that A series or whatever, the A1.
Yeah.
It's built on the same chassis, and maybe somebody who does cars can correct me, but as the Polo. It's nearly the same car. Granted, it looks a little bit better. But if you do your marketing right and you position yourself in a place where people want to engage with your business because of the message you're showing them, you're going to do so much better than everybody else. And a lot of the big brands and a lot of the small brands and a lot of the independents aren't doing that. They're just like, whatever. We get the business in any case. I don't need to do any more. I'm happy with it. And if you're looking at it from a real estate perspective as an owner, you can do more. So that's one of the things that African real estate needs. If you look at it specifically, like with those shows on Netflix, the South African one compared to the American one, a little bit of spice is needed. A little bit of spice is needed in be proud that you're in real estate. I don't know why people aren't proud that they're in real estate. Why they're not proud that they're real estate agents. Real estate agents make a killing if you're good. You know, if you're good, you're making a fortune. You're doing a incredible job. You've got access to all these amazing houses. You've got so many opportunities to shout about yourself, shout about who you are, your brand, about what you've done. And again, we've got some independents that are doing that. You've got a really nice job. Don't be scared to make some noise about your job. Don't be scared to shout about your successes. What are you doing with your successes on social media? You're talking about how you've sold a 50 million rand house. Are you talking about how you give incredible customer service? Do that, because that's what the guys in America are doing. That's why they decided to build a show around it. And then they threw some drama in, and there we go. Now everybody talks about American real estate.
Yeah, you're right.
And then from more of a social responsibility point of view, I think a lot of people need to give back. I think in South Africa, there's a lot of things we could be doing in terms of the housing perspective and in terms of the money real estate makes to start giving back to the community. And how much is being done, I'm not sure. And I probably wouldn't be comfortable talking about it just because I don't know. So I don't want to be saying we're not doing enough, but we could be doing more. I'd say that. I think we could be doing more. There's so much money in real estate. It's one of the biggest industries in the world. If we talk about money in real estate, in billions and billions of dollars, what are we doing to give back? What are we doing to make it easier for other people to buy their first house? And that's what. And again, I'm biased, but that's what I love about private properties. We do so much in terms of education, like how are you going to get your first house? We'll help you look at that. We got all those podcasts on talking about the first time home buyer show. Talks about how people went and bought their first house. How did they save up? Where should they invest their money? What are the pitfalls and the traps that you should be wary of so that you're not tied into something that's going to cost you more money in the long run? How to not make bad decisions in buying homes. Education, I think, is almost as important as just giving back, because who do you speak to? Like, a lot of people don't know who to speak to about their first home. Not everybody's got access to their parents. And maybe some people's parents don't know. So who do you speak to find this stuff out? And where do you even start? And it's nice to see that private property's done that, and we're looking at other steps of giving back to the community. But education is amazing, because I didn't know, a lot of my friends didn't know in their first house, and more often than not, it bites you not knowing. We always talk about it in terms of education. We're like, you're learning English and you're learning math and that, but you're not learning how to do your taxes. You're not learning how to do all the stuff you actually need to know to survive and thrive. So it's nice to see people give back. But other than that, let me not get into trouble on this.
No, most definitely, you're right. Private property is number one when it comes to education. I remember when I bought the private property guide manual, I read it from the first page to the last page, and I was like, what? I just learned all these things. I should have bought this for 400, not 200, That's how valuable it is. Even your shows, they're very, very important in terms of spreading information. So, Brad, since you are very passionate about giving back and working with private property and whatnot, what's the next thing for you?
It's a good question. Right now, just trying to wrap up a couple of projects with private property. We've got some really, really cool things in the mix that I don't want to mention just yet, but you guys are going to see it. It's going to be coming up. And, I do want to just be a bit more intentional myself. I talk about being intentional, and like I said, with the Home Shopper show, it's something that I never thought would grow to the point it has been. And we've been spending a lot of time trying to turn it into something that's a lot more entertainment focused, how it's a lot more engaging and fun to run through these houses. So I just want to make it nicer, give back to the people who have stuck with me through episode 1 all the way to, episode 115, and make it more fun, show them that we also, haven't forgotten about them. We appreciate their support, and we're going to show them that we appreciate it through making the quality of the production that much better, making the houses that much cooler. But Cape Town's coming up soon. I'm going to show everybody what it looks like living on the beach. Then it's Durban. We'll do some other areas that have got some really interesting houses, and maybe we'll be talking this time next year. You can tell me about the next 100 episodes.
Yeah, no, we need to talk. With what's going on now, people who watch your show and they want to live in these properties, and people who maybe want to be the next Chad, what's your piece of advice for them?
Well, if you want to live in the property, you and me both. We both want to live there. Good luck. I wish you the best. I think just carry on working, and with a bit of luck, and I'm sure tons and tons and tons of hard work, you can live in those kind of properties. But also I say, there's very few houses that I see that I want to live in. Not because I think I'm too fancy for it, but just, you tell me what you think. You went through Africa. How many of those houses feel like home? They feel like showpieces. They feel like these malls. I think very often you'll find a home that is still quite expensive. I mean, anywhere from 1 million all the way to 10 million is an expensive home, but you'll find homes in between that price point that will bring you so much more pleasure day on day than necessarily living in a 50 million rand home.
Ooh, well said. But wait, before we go, we want to know what happens to the bottle of wine antique. Where do you stash them? Where do you stash them?
I got to take those home. I don't. They search me almost with a metal detector on the way out. It's almost a violation with how they search me. They shake me upside down by my ankles and they take everything that falls out. One day somebody's going to gift me with a wine bottle when I leave there, but not yet. Not yet. I always have to put them back, and I walk away with a big sad face, dreaming about the free wine I'd get.
Guys, there's a lot we can go through. But we'll make sure that we get him a bottle on the next episode when he invites us to chill for hours and hours, because we steadily ran out of time. So this is where we have to finish it and close it. Guys, please follow Chad on all social media platforms. They'll be linked below. And make sure, please, a favor for me, strictly go follow him on Instagram. His name is Mr. Vivieros. Please, because his Instagram is very good, and I don't like the way people are not following him. I think he deserves more than the followers he has. Please do that for me, and thank you very much. Tell us, comment below if this is dope. Thank you, Chad. Nice.
Thank you so much. Cheers, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Likewise, man.
Cool.
Guys, another note before I forget. This interview is very important, and we were dying to do it because we just want to make sure that Chad gets his flowers. He gets what he deserves because he opened doors and he set the foundation. Now the wolves can go eat and attack, you know, because everybody, now we know South Africa has beautiful homes that are way better than American homes, the European homes. We know because of this guy, you know. Personally, I wouldn't know. His show opened my eyes, and now we know what's in SA. Now we know how to invest, how to get the properties. He gave us the advice. You need to work hard. So we just came here to give him his flowers and make sure that we respect this guy. Thank you a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow him. Thank you.